And you know, when you brought up, you know, people are concerned about special interests. You know, and you're right. You know, a lot of people in my community, a lot of people that watch this show, and people that I interact with on Twitter, that's their main concern, because they feel like that's where there's a breakdown between what politicians say they're going to do and when they actually implement it is due to special interests and lobbyists and money to run and all of these things. So I realize you just joined the Justice Democrats, and how is that going for you?
It's great, you know, and I'd love to get into the conversation, but here are the 2-3 things. I'm the only incumbent Democrat in Congress to support the Justice Democrats, because they've stood for some pretty bold things. One is that you ought to be able to run against even in primaries, and the competition is good. Now, I beat someone in a Democratic primary. It would be the height of hypocrisy for me to say, well, now that I'm in Congress, we should never have challenges against incumbents. That's not a Justice Democrats thing. That's a thing about our Democratic Party. Part of what frustrated folks in 2016 is they thought the establishment had prematurely gotten behind Hillary. I mean, I've been very open with folks. I was for Hillary until December of 2015. Everyone kind of just assumed that she would be the nominee. But then I started seeing this idea of pledged superdelegates, and that was absolutely wrong. And Bernie was out there actually talking much more boldly about ideas and about a vision. And I ended up endorsing him before the June primary in California. I think I'm the only sitting California member to have done that. But part of what I think the frustration was is the sense that there wasn't competition. There wasn't this sense of true democracy. There was too much of an influence of superdelegates and people on the inside. And so I think what Justice Democrats and a lot of progressives want is more new voices, more progressives, more open competition in the system. The second thing, and then I have to answer more questions, that attracted me to Justice Democrats is their bold platform. Here they are for Medicare for all, for a financial transaction tax, for free public college. And the third thing that attracted me to them was their emphasis on not taking a PAC and lobbyist money. Now, I want to be very upfront about this. I'm one of 6 members of Congress that doesn't take corporate PAC or lobbyist money or any PAC or lobbyist money. I want to be clear. I have gotten support from plenty of economic leaders, tech leaders, leaders in their individual capacity who have written me the maximum $2,700 check. So I'm not claiming, as Bernie Sanders did, where he inspired a nation and got probably most people writing $27. I've raised money from individuals who have written their max out contributions, but they don't come with strings attached. They don't have me fill out a questionnaire saying committing to a certain policy. And so I've been able to go to Congress and get on the financial transaction tax bill, on Medicare for all, on increasing antitrust, on making sure tech companies are paying taxes on overseas profits. Ultimately, I'd love to have everyone in this country funded like Bernie Sanders. In the meantime, at least we can get corporate PAC and lobbyist money out of politics, and that's what Justice Democrats and other progressive groups have been talking about.
Okay, so this one is interesting. I find this one interesting on 2 points. 2 things, because there were 2 main ideas. One has to do with, I don't like political speak. I just don't. I hate it. I feel like, and look, this is my own bias, so take it with a grain of salt. I just feel like they're lying to me when they're giving me political speak. Now, he's doing it for a reason. What he needs to do as a politician is different than what I want as a person who's observing and who wants these guys to be honest. But, so let me be specific. When he's making this point of saying, well, they felt like they weren't part of the process, and they felt like they wanted more options. It's not about feelings, dude. It's not about feelings. Stop saying it's about feelings. It's not about feelings. They cheated. They're in court. Your party is literally in court right now, making this conversation about how they're a corporation and they can cheat when they need to cheat. It boils down to a political promise on whether or not they decide to live up to the things that they say. So let's put that in context. Let's also put in context that Podesta leaks, the WikiLeaks things, actually exist. Those are real things that you can go through and read that show that the Democratic Party cheated. Where is this feeling thing coming in? Where's this feeling thing coming in? Where is this idea of they believe this? They don't believe it. They know this. There's a difference in those things. Like I said, people believe in Jesus. when they're looking at information, when the Democratic Party themselves takes the position that, yes, this stuff is just political promise, we can do whatever we want, that's pretty damning. That's pretty pathetic and embarrassing when you have to admit that. When that's your only go-to position is, okay, fair enough, but you can't hold us to it. Understand what I mean. This is somebody feeling a particular way. This is the reality of the situation. This is objective, physical matter reality. It's not subjective at that point. They cheated. They cheated. Say the word. Say the word. Shame the devil. It's not one of those things of, like the word is going to bite you if you say it in some way. They cheated. You're on a progressive network. They cheated. They cheated. You need to be able to say that word. Now, that's what I want as a person. That's what I want as a person. If we're having this conversation of what he needs to do as a politician, well, that's different. He's a Democrat. He's a Democrat. And the last thing you want to do is, get the winning stroke, but end up slicing your foot off trying to do it. It's this thing of, yes, I want the progressive vote. Yes, I'm on a progressive network. I am doing my best to try to assuage some of the issues that progressives have with me. But no, they're still hillbots. No, there's still people. I read this ridiculous thing that came out today with a person talking about Hillary Clinton was the strongest candidate in 2020. That is mental. That is absolutely mental. But you have these robots walking around thinking that Hillary Clinton was an awesome candidate. It was Russia. It was Russia. Russia did it. Russia hacked us. Hillary Clinton would be president right now if it wasn't for Vladimir Putin. These people are walking around believing this stuff. They're walking around believing it. So, yes, in our sandbox, in our particular reality, that stuff is ridiculous. It's bogus. It's bogus. It's built of a pathetic mind who just didn't necessarily want to own up to why she lost to a reality show host. But he has to live in their illusions, if that makes sense. Like, it's one of those things where he can't go balls out like I would go balls out, in the way I would say this stuff. Or just being brutal in the way I would phrase things. In his case, he's stuck with the Democratic Party. So while he may want the progressive vote, while he may want these people to assuage their fears and everything else, there is only so far he can go. Otherwise, he would lose a component of the vote. I think that's what it boils down to. I think that's why you get this moderated tone in this sense. Even though he's on a progressive network, it's like he's pleasantly saying things that are ghastly. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, they cheated. Yes, they subverted democracy. Yes, they did all these really gross and negative things. But I'm going to put it in the pleasantest tone that I can put it, in the most ambiguous way that I can put it. They felt a particular way about this. No, they didn't feel anyway. They knew. That's the difference. They knew. The second point. The questionnaire thing is mind-blowing. Like that, this dropped out, and there was no emphasis put on it or anything else. He just kind of mentioned the questionnaire thing. And it's like, wait, what do you mean questionnaire? What do you mean questionnaire? So are you saying that the person has to fill out a questionnaire if they're going to get money from particular sources? That is amazing. That is amazing. How is that not blatant corruption? Like how can you make this case of saying these people felt a particular way when what you are describing is somebody literally saying, these are my views. Give me cash. That's amazing. Now he's making this case about the $2,700 contribution thing. Yes and no. Yes and no. This is one of those things where it goes both ways. If you're going to say, I'm getting $2,700 from all my contributions. This is the thing that Cal Kalinske keeps screaming at the top of his lungs about on Twitter. Yes. Or I can't say he's screaming at the top of his lungs all the time. I saw him write this post that was obtuse and absolutely, him pissed off again at people having to go at Justice Democrats. But he's making this case like, dude, it's $2,700 contributions. They are single donations of $2,700 a piece. I'm not accepting PAC money. That may be true, but there's a secondary component of, yes, but you have a large amount of money from one particular sector. So yes, you may be getting individual donations, but when you have a huge amount coming from one particular sector, does that influence? So now his point is, yeah, there's no one particular individual that can make me do something, because ultimately I'm only getting $2,700 from those particular individuals. Yes, but certainly that the tech industry is giving you a huge amount of cash. So no, you may not necessarily bend to the will of any particular individual, but you may bend to the will of the tech industry as a whole. Like, your interests as an individual, meaning let's say you were somebody who owned a particular company. Yeah, you may have an interest of somebody to do something, but your company also has a particular interest, meaning there are certain things that are going to make you more cash, make you more profit. I don't need you to support what I want just purely as an individual standpoint. The fact that you're getting a huge amount from a particular industry means you're getting amount from from an industry. If you go against that industry, are you going to continue to get that cash? I mean, that's the question. I would make the argument that I don't think those people are crazy for pointing out like, whoa, this guy is getting a massive amount of cash from the tech industry. Is he going to bend towards the tech industry and his policies? Of course he is. He's incentivized to do so. I understand what he means when he's saying this $2,700 thing. I'm sorry, I don't believe him on this. Yes, I think it may be $2,700 a piece, even if he's right, even in the most ideal situations where he's saying it's $2,700 a piece. Ultimately, if you know you're getting a huge amount of money in the millions from the tech industry, let's say it's hundreds of thousands, whatever, but you're getting a huge amount of money from the tech industry, a large percentage of your cash being tech, certainly you know bills and things, that policies that may come up that is advantageous to the tech industry. Like, certainly you know this idea of interest. Like, the interest of one is not the interest of all. So we like to talk about this whole thing of America and everything else. But the interests of various factions of this country are different. You know, you have a Pentagon that has the interest of war. They gain more power in the sense of war. You have a president or a politician who has an interest in getting elected, meaning he needs to take cash to get elected. You have the mom who has an interest of taking care of her kid, raising her kid, going to work, getting whatever she needs from a resources standpoint. The interests of various factions of society are different. All I'm getting at is there will be situations where the interests of the tech industry will diverge from the interests of your constituents, particularly if you're on here hollering for progressives or progressive support. It's not so, I don't want to say he's lying. It's not that I think he's lying. I'm just saying there's a clear incentive that if you're getting a huge amount of money from one specific sector, that even if it's not one person commanding you to do something or pushing you to do something, you will full well understand the wants of that particular sector. And in cases where that sector is going headlong in opposition to your constituents, you have a clear incentive to bend headlong towards that interest. It can be anonymous. It doesn't need to be a person. It doesn't need to be an individual compelling you that way. I'm talking about the incentive itself. I don't need to have this person in the wings stuffing money in your G-string. It doesn't need to be that way. The very act that there's an incentive for you to lean a particular way for a very specific industry creates a problem. It creates a conflict. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't think these people are crazy for saying, whoa, even if you're right and it's just $2,700, that's a little off-putting. That's a little off-putting.